Okay, once you've logged in, we're going to go through a tutorial to get you up to speed in Unity all the way up to assignment 4, which is due on the 25th of March. So this is being recorded before the 25th of March. And this is kind of our first attempt at bringing together several pieces of software to create tutorials rather than do stuff live in lab or in class. So let me create a folder and we'll call it assignment 2 because the plan for this particular series of tutorials is to, assuming you already have done the rollerball tutorial, to take you from assignment 2, where we used simple physics to move a cube, all the way up to assignment 4, where you kind of architect the system with managers and aspects. And we'll see how that translates to Unity. All right, so let's create a project. This is going to take a little bit of time to load. You're going to need plenty of patience. Okay, so you should note that my particular set of windows looks very different. I have both the scene and the game available, and I have the stats window set up. If you look at the stats window, you can see that I have 857 frames per second, which is pretty high. You can rearrange it anyway, like so for example, if I really wanted to, I could go this way and have it in the middle. There's many ways to do this. All right, so what I really want to do is to start, as in most of our assignments, with a naval theme and have some water. The problem is it's not easy to make water, and there isn't any pre-built water. So what we're going to do is there's a Unity asset store, which you can get to from here. We're going to search for something called Unity Standard Assets. And that is what we want. We're done. So we really want this, which is from Unity Technologies. They provide us with a whole bunch of assets. And we want to download it. This is going to take time. And once downloaded, we'll want to import it. All right, it's ready to import. So let's start the import. Sorry, I got distracted. So once it's ready for import, you can see everything that's ready to be imported. And if you look down here, you'll see water, among other things, which is what we really are after. Trees and water, this stuff. And so we'll import everything else because it's going to be useful anyway. And it's good for everyone to experiment with. Yes, there is a lot of waiting. Once it's imported, you should see standard assets as a subfolder of assets. So while it's importing, I'm going to go back to the normal scene. Well, I can't. So we wait. Okay, so you notice that now we have new stuff, right? And specifically, we have a folder called standard assets and some sample scenes that you can go in that give you templates and complete kind of like mini games. Under environment, underwater, I actually like water 4 more than the other water, so we're going to go to water 4 prefabs, and we're going to use water 4 advanced because it looks pretty nice. Before we go there, let's go back to the scene. So this is a particular window, and I'm going to make water here. I'm going to construct the scene here interactively. So I want to place objects, entities, if you will, meshes, water, ocean, that kind of stuff. And then you can see where the camera is. You can see where there's a directional light, and you can see where the main camera is, and you can see which direction the light is pointed and things like that. You can see on the right side the inspector, and the inspector basically tells us something about the object that you've clicked on in the main scene or in here. Okay, so all objects in your scene, which is what we're going to be interactively constructing, you can inspect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the equivalent of a Unity scene node. So an Ogre scene node in Unity. In Unity, it's called a game object, and I'm going to create an empty game object. I can triple click on it and rename it. I'll call it Ocean. I could also have gone over to the inspector and changed the name to Ocean 2, for example, and it would have been had its name changed here. Note that every game object in Unity, just like every scene node in Ogre, has a position, rotation, and scale, all encapsulated inside this class or component called a transform. Okay, it's located at coordinate 0, 0, 0 with respect to the root scene node, which is at 0, 0, 0 as well. So just like Ogre creates a root scene node by default at 0, 0, 0, Unity has a root scene node, and everything is in the scene is a child of the root scene node. All right. So in here, I'm going to put my water. That's simply dragging it over to this. I'm putting it there. I don't really like dragging it across things. All kinds of mistakes can happen, so I'm going to put it down here. That's easy to drag stuff around. All right. So now I have it. Apparently, I have issues with high quality, so I'll put it medium. Okay, I can do medium. Yay. No, low. What happened to medium? Still problems. All right. Put it on low. If I press play, I can see what the camera sees, and I can see what it looks like in the scene view. This is what the player would see. This is what the developer sees. Okay, programmer, if you will. Are we okay with that? Okay. So one thing I can do is click on the main camera and get a more bird's eye view, and that's just by changing the Y axis, which goes up and down. So there I go. I go up 10. The camera moved up 10, and I can see the ocean. It's neat in Unity that if you go to the variable name like this, you see the two little triangles appear on it. If you left click, it allows you to change the value of that variable for some variables. Okay? Let's say I want to be at 15. I actually want to rotate. So if I do that, double click on an object in the scene, it takes me to it. Okay? And selects it in the scene. You can use the middle mouse button to zoom in and out. Left mouse button actually selects things. So if you click somewhere, it's selected a tile in my water. And you can see that it's made up of 4 tiles, right? So if I select this, I can actually see what the camera's frustum looks like. It's looking out at the world and out of this particular window, and that's what is visible to the player. Right? What I'd like to do is to rotate it so it kind of looks down. So you can see the frustum rotating as I change the value, the value of the rotation around X. I want to put it at, let's say, 25. I just like multiples of 5 and 10. And then maybe move back a little bit. Yeah. All right. So maybe move back about 100. Okay, maybe 100 is too far. Maybe 50. Okay. Right? So this is great. I've got ocean. I've got the camera looking at the ocean. The problem is the ocean is kind of small and doesn't go all the way to the horizon. There's a lot of brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it. Right? I could scale this, or I could scale this. I'll scale this. Make it 100 times bigger. You can see now that I've scaled it in the X direction. The Y direction did not get scaled, so you know which way X goes, this way. In the Y direction it didn't get scaled, that's the yellow arrow, and in the Z direction it didn't get scaled. I'm also going to scale it in the Z direction. Okay, so let's make it 100 in the C direction. And now I have water all the way to the horizon if you look at the game view. So now if I play it, things look pretty cool. Okay. All right. The problem with high water, high resolution, one of the problems is this. It's extra computation to give kind of an overall wavy motion, and it doesn't scale well. I'd have to play with these parameters to make it look better. So another thing to note, when I touch this, it turns things on and off. Right, so this particular script is active. I can toggle it to be inactive. Yeah. Right. I can toggle, if I click on this, I can toggle water on and off. If I toggle the main camera, I don't see. It gives me an error message. And I can turn directional light on and off. It doesn't make a large difference. All right. This, I still don't like the way things are arranged, so I'm going to put this back here. I'll put the console at the bottom here. That looks better. Okay, much better. Okay, so we've got this. What do we need next?